And we are live. Hi, Ravi. Good evening.
Hi, Cecil.
Exactly, almost exactly 2 months to CAT now.
Hmm.
So, I think we've come out at the app time. I'm sure the way I'm seeing the chatter, on YouTube, Telegram, everywhere that our students are, right? I see that there's a lot of nervousness around CAT at this time of the year, as expected. So, guys, we are here uh, to solve your questions, and I think GP will be joining us very soon. So, good evening, and let's begin.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Cecil, just before we start, though it reads 2 months to cat, please mind that in the 2 months that are to come, there is a Durga Puja and a Diwali coming in. So let's count it as 50 days only.
क्या मतलब रवि, आर यू एक्सपेक्टिंग कि अभी लोग दुर्गा पूजा, नवरात्रि, दिवाली ऐसे ढंग से सेलिब्रेट करेंगे? करना चाहिए। मेरे हिसाब
करना
से करना चाहिए।
मेरे
करना
हिसाब
चाहिए।
से करना चाहिए मतलब ऐसा कुछ होना अगर इफ यू हैव द हैबिट ऑफ सेलिब्रेटिंग इट इफ यू एंजॉय डूइंग दैट यू शुड डू दैट मतलब because things can go south and you will always have a pressure on your mind and if there is some time that you can spend with your family and you like spending time with the family and enjoying and take go out with your friends, I think that is a great stress buster, that get together.
Absolutely. So, GP is with us. Hi, GP.
Yeah,
Hi sir.
hi. And in fact,
So,
जो रवि कह रहा है, I am completely in agreement with Ravi. यार कितना पढ़ाई कर लोगे? You will get sick of studies. If you have a break, you will come back refreshed. So while studies are important, yes, CAT is important. But if you make it a do or die effort, as I always say, you will die. Okay? And if you die, there's nothing left. So forget about this. पढ़ाई करो, मस्ती भी मारो, फेस्टिवल भी सेलिब्रेट करना है, and everything has to go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
absolutely, absolutely good one. So, in fact, no, just to go a little further, in the last few days before CAT, हम लोग ये बात भी करेंगे. But generally we suggest कि भाई movies देख, कुछ और कर, मस्ती कर, friends को मिल, right? Probably drink party को छोड़ के बाकी सब कुछ कर ले, ताकि
वो
hangover
भी
ना
कर
हो
सकते हो यार,
experience.
उसमें
हाँ,
भी कर लो
hangover नहीं
मतलब
होना चाहिए, otherwise CAT
See,
जाएगा.
it has to be balanced. ठीक है, अब मूवी देखते हुए कुछ पी लिया तो ठीक है, that is assuming you drink. ठीक है, so not for the sake of drinking, but if you do it, that's okay as long as it's balanced, it's fine. And movie
Yeah.
recommendation, I'm sure Ravi will give very good movie recommendations, and there will be some multiple languages. So if anyone wants to watch movies, you can always tap into Ravi and ask which are the ones you should go for. Be open to all languages, all I would say.
Ravi, do you just suggest Ravi Teja's movie or some other movies also?
Yeah, I suggest all movies except Ravi Teja's movies. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Because of that
Chalo,
one person, every interview I go to, I sat for an interview at IIM Ahmedabad for PhD. My 15-minute interview was about Ravi Teja, that Ravi Teja, and not me. So I didn't like it at all. यार उसने मेरे
yes,
बारे में पूछना चाहिए ना यार.
yes. So I will start with the first one comment. Okay, ये सब
Yeah.
क्या चल रहा है भाई? So
Mm.
कुछ नहीं चल रहा है भाई. The idea is to lighten up before we get into the stuff. So that's exactly what is going on, and let's get into the session with that. Sure. So the first few questions, which are the normal questions, and एक दो क्वेश्चन मैंने देख भी लिए चैट में इस तरह के. Should I take CAT this year? मतलब अगले साल करूँ, इस साल करूँ, वो वाला क्वेश्चन है. Is it too late to start the prep? And can I still get a 99 percentile? So let's take them up one by one. So I mean, GP ये क्वेश्चन बार बार हम लोग आंसर कर रहे हैं कि should I take CAT this year? ये ऑफ्ट आस्क्ड क्वेश्चन है, बिकॉज लोगों की इस टाइम पे हालत खराब हो जाती है, तो वो सोचना शुरू करता है कि अगले साल दूंगा. पर अगर इस स्टेज पे तो अगले साल देने का सोच रहा है, तो अगले साल भी तो यही सोचेगा भाई, राइट?
Yeah,
सो
this all
जीपी.
nothing is going to change. If you have
यस.
not prepared, if you are indisciplined, if you are afraid, next year is not going to be any different. On the contrary, next year you will have a bigger pressure on you कि last year छोड़ दिया, इस बार तो करना ही है. So you are going to kill yourself. Secondly, it is not that if you take CAT this year you are not eligible for it next year, or you can take CAT only once in a lifetime. ऐसा भी कुछ नहीं है. I have been taking CAT since 1995 every year. No one has stopped me. So you can take. So I would go ahead and say, even if you are not well prepared, even if you think there's a significant gap in your preparation, go ahead and take CAD. You might be pleasantly surprised. Because when you go into a paper without any pressure, without any expectations, you usually tend to be much better. So इसलिए बिल्कुल लेना है. And remember, what is the worst that will happen? You'll end up taking it next year. वो तो already plan कर देते हैं. So take CAT this year. Don't think that next year is going to be any different. If you give up this year, on the contrary, you will be under a bigger amount of pressure next year.
The question you should ask yourself is कैट का फॉर्म भरा है कि नहीं भरा है.
Yeah.
अब पैसा अगर भर दिया है तो पैसा वसूल करके आओ, जाओ एक्सपीरियंस करके आओ.
एंड जीपी ने जो बोला कि इस साल नहीं होगा तो अगले साल भी कैसे होगा, उसका उल्टा बात करें ना, तो अगर अगले साल होना है तो अभी इस साल हो सकता है, अभी भी टाइम है, सो दैट इज हाउ यू शुड लुक एट इट. बट इज इट टू लेट टू स्टार्ट द प्रेप? मतलब अगर या तो मैंने स्टार्ट ही नहीं किया या मैं स्टार्ट कर चुका था लेकिन मैंने कुछ किया नहीं और अब शुरू करना चाहता हूँ, सो इज इट टू लेट? इट इज नॉट टू लेट. दिस माइट बी द लास्ट कॉल, सो इट इज स्टिल पॉसिबल इन अ वे. ठीक है,
20 तारीख से पहले सजील, 20 तारीख से पहले इसने कैट का फॉर्म भर दिया है जिसने भी है. अगर पूछ रहा है कि इज इट टू लेट टू स्टार्ट द प्रेप, अगर 20 तारीख से पहले कैट का फॉर्म भर दिया है और 26 तारीख को ये पूछ रहा है कि इज इट टू लेट, तो कर क्या रहा था 6 दिन? सिंपल डाउट है मेरा. I mean, it's never too late to start the prep, but if you have filled out the form, give it your 100%. You never know. You can absolutely be surprised. See, for example, I for one know here that when GB prepared, when Sazil prepared for CAT, during that time, they took a lot of mocks and all. I think Sazil, we were having this discussion half an hour ago, right? That how at our time we used to do this, right? I did not take any mock. CAT was my first mock. I went into the paper without any expectations because my friends were taking CAT. I went there and I took CAT. That's it.
And yeah, I took 7-8 mocks, not 30. That's for sure.
Right.
But yeah,
when you have nothing to lose, I think JP's statement is very, very valid. When you have nothing to lose, then you are a different animal altogether, and you can give your best in that exam. So you have got to go to the paper with an attitude that you've got nothing to lose. It's not do or die at any point in time in your life. ठीक है, आप लोग को you don't need to worry about अगर एक साल गया तो क्या गया, नहीं. You just have to go for the kill in the paper.
Right, absolutely. And finally, can I still get a 99 percentile? I think इसका आंसर PPT में आगे भी आ रहा है, but a straight answer is yes. But that also depends on where you are right now and what you're doing about it. So I think ये दो factors पे depend करेगा. So what you're doing about it का आंसर भी इस सेशन में मिलेगा आपको कि how can I get to a 99 percentile?
And Sazil, एक चीज और बोलना चाहूंगा. 99 percentile is a useless number. Okay. Please check what is that you need. Different colleges have different requirements. I am Ahmedabad call students at 87, 88 percentile, also general category. Okay. Yes, most of them are girls. They are from fashion or they are from other courses. Similarly, you need to look at different institutes. And in all, you can get a call at a lower percentile if you're a girl. In some other institutes, if you are from a arts background, humanities background, okay, and then your category also comes into picture. Your marks in 10th, 12th. So 99 percentile का कोई मतलब नहीं है. 99 percentile is just a benchmark that we look at. Okay, ये है कि you're top 1%. But what you need is not 99 percentile. If you are looking at Ahmedabad as a general category engineer, तो 99 बहुत कम है. Okay. If you are looking at some other institute, 99 might be very high. So ये पहले तो 99 का हवा हटा लो. Please go to Profiler and check what is that you need for yourself in various institutes. Okay. Secondly, the question should be, can I still get a call from a good institute if I start preparing now? Obviously, yes. There's no doubt about it that you can do very well in 2 months preparation also. But yes, जो 6 महीने में काम हो सकता है 2 महीने में करोगे, so you'll have to put in some extra effort. There's no doubt about that also. So if you're willing to put in that extra effort, you can. And one of the examples that I always give is of my niece. She started CAT preparation just about 2 months before CAT. That was during COVID. She came over to me in Delhi, stayed with me. सुबह शाम पढ़ती थी और कुछ नहीं करती थी. So 2 months she went into Lucknow. End of the story. So please remember, it is entirely up to you. It is entirely up to you. You are willing to put in the effort, you will get through. If you are not willing to put in the effort, none of us can do anything about it. It is your success or your failure.
Right. So GP, I was looking at the RTI data today, recent admissions, or last admissions हुए उसका, and the numbers I remember right now are IIM Ahmedabad ka calls for general category has gone at as low as 82 percentile,
Yeah,
like we've been saying all
I'm
along.
right.
And the converts, people have converted in general category again for IIM A, B, L and K, if I'm not wrong. सबका 92 to 94 के बीच में is the convert. So basic general category. So basically 99 percentile is not required, as you said. However, and 99 percentile के ऊपर होता है तो जरूरी नहीं है कि कॉल आएगा. So all of this put together, look at what GP said. Look at what is your objective, what is the B school you want to get into, what is required for you to do, and you do your job. Right. So I think that's about it. And now with these questions, let's delve deeper into it. So first, the slide, next slide says, yes, you can crack and even get a 99 percentile if you want to, right? First of all, so CAT is not a knowledge test. Let's understand it's not about knowledge, right? It's about aptitude and the skill and the strategy and all of it put together on that one day, right? Skill of maybe problem solving, reading, comprehension, ये वो सब कुछ इकट्ठा करो, right? थोड़ा strategy अगर use किया है and you know how to get, मान लो for example we'll be showing in a couple of slides के एक section में मेरा स्कोर बहुत ज्यादा खींच लूं मैं, if I have that kind of a strength and I can get a 99.9 percentile in one section, the other two sections can do with a 95 percentile and I'll still be at 99 percentile. So those kind of things work, right? And CAT is an aptitude test. So please understand that solving 30 to 35% of the questions can get you there. हमें 100% questions 60% नहीं करना है. हमें सिर्फ 30-35% भी solve करने पे अगर with a decent accuracy you'll be there, right? So 90 percentile तो पहुंच ही जाओगे, 50% पे आप 99.5 के आसपास या उसके ऊपर होगे, right? So that's what we've observed over the years, right? So Ravi, any comment on this more than what you said so far?
I think CAT is the favorite exam I have ever taken in my life. My favorite, my personal favorite. Not because I did good at it. It is because CAT never expected anything of me before I stepped into that hall. Everything that was required for me to be able to solve the question in VRC or DILR especially was already given, but that information was is always provided, right? So especially for VRC and DILR, there is no prior knowledge that anyone is expecting out of you. Maybe in quant, some people are, yeah, some questions are expecting you to know prior knowledge, but हाँ 10वीं पास किए हो तो उतना तो पता होना चाहिए. I mean, everyone remembers. See, with no offense to anyone, everyone remembers mitochondria is the powerhouse of a cell, but no one remembers angle bisector theorem. क्यों? जबरदस्ती. ये दोनों एक ही बार पढ़े थे, right? So it's only 10th class
Right.
math that they are checking even in quant. So all of you have passed 10th standard. That is expected of you.
ठीक है, good. All right, so just moving on. Now, what GP talked about, I think we've covered what GP said, covered this slide, right? That what does cracking CAT mean for you? It could be different. For someone, cracking CAT would be 99 percentile, 95 percentile, 90 percentile. It depends on the goal, right? I have a very beautiful example that I generally share with the students. I would like to share it here, right? मान लो I ask Vaibhav Shukla, one of the students here, right, कि वैभव मुझे एक पेन चाहिए, तुम मार्केट जा रहे हो, प्लीज गेट मी अ पेन फ्रॉम अ स्टेशनरी शॉप. एंड वैभव गोज टू अ स्टेशनरी शॉप एंड बोला कि सर ने बोला है गेट मी अ गुड पेन. सो ही चेक्स आउट अ पेन एंड नो, बाजू में एक पेन पड़ी है, वो ट्राई करता है, अच्छा लिखता है, 50 रुपए का पेन है तो अच्छा लिखता है, तो इट्स अ गुड पेन. बट ही टेल्स द शॉपकीपर कि अच्छा पेन दिखाओ, तो शॉपकीपर को सेल्स है दिमाग में, तो वो पार्कर निकालता है 250 रुपीज का, बिकॉज ये बंदा 50 रुपए की पेन देख रहा है. सो ही टेक्स आउट 250 रुपी पार्कर. So Vaibhav starts thinking, okay, maybe sir might meant by a good pen, he meant a Parker pen of 250 rupees. And then he buys that and comes to me, and I get upset. And I say, I only use a Lamy, which is 3,000, 4,000 rupees, right? So I wanted that kind of a good pen. So it depends on what good really means for you. It's subjective, right? So cracking CAT is a very subjective thing. What's a good B score is a subjective thing. What's a good percentile is a subjective thing. So basically decide what your goal is, right? That's already what GP sort of discussed, right? Okay.
I think so
Uh,
Sajil, one point here is, see, having a goal is very, very important. And while your goal, your aim may be to land on the sky, but you should also live in reality that you will probably end up landing on the tree. Okay. So all these backup options, especially in this B school form filling sessions and all, Sajil and GB would have taken you through those, that you should always keep those backup options with you. Because let me tell you one thing very, very honestly, it doesn't, I mean, the college or the brand that you're going to for these 2 years of MBA is going to matter initially in your career, but once you land in your first job, once you land in your first job, what matters is how much dedication and hard work you are putting there, and you will grow on the basis of who you are. You will not grow on the basis of what your college is, right?
right.
So you should keep, I mean, if you are someone who is in the range of 20 to 30 marks right now, or 10 to 15 marks right now consistently, then probably getting to a 99 may not be very easy for you, right? You should have clarity on where you could land, that reality ko rakhte hue, then you look at the ambitions also and try to work towards the ambition. You end up at the reality.
Fair. So before we move on from this slide, एक question मैं repeated देख रहा हूँ in the chat by a lot of people is about DILR. ठीक है, मेरा ये प्रॉब्लम है, DILR इस बार सेट सॉल्व नहीं हो रहा है, 1.5 सेट हो रहा है, one set I'm able to solve, I'm not able to solve one set. So what is the DILR strategy for the remaining days, and in the exams, how do I get those maybe 1 or 2 or 2.5 sets, right? So Ravi, you start with this again,
See,
and we'll go
be
over to
it
GP.
DILR, be it VARC, or be it Quant, or be it any problem in your life, you always should have the problem clear in front of you. ठीक है, अगर तुम्हारे सामने प्रॉब्लम क्लियरली है, you know the problem exactly, you know what your goal is, you will eventually start running towards it. Unless you have defined your goal, you will not do. So when you're solving a question of DILR, in the set of DILR, don't tend to overcomplicate the conditions that are given. I've seen a lot of people, even in the Telegram groups that and all, discuss multiple possibilities कि ये भी हो सकता था, वो भी हो सकता नहीं. The goal is for you to be able to solve it in minimum time, right? So the goal is to solve questions, not even the set. So when you are practicing DILR, if you get stuck at any question, just think about it, what your goal is. Your goal is to be able to crack the first 2 questions of it. Keep that as your goal and try to find where B is sitting if question 1 is asking you where is B sitting in an arrangement set, right? That will give you a path. Even in quant, when you are looking at a question, you have taken down the given data and you have put down what is to be found. If you have the given data and what is to be found, matlab it's like you are in Delhi and you want to go to Hyderabad, you will find a way. You'll probably, some people will go by train, they will reach a little later. Some people will take a flight, they'll using jugaads, and they will reach a little faster. No approach is wrong, right? So DILR, especially for preparation of DILR, I would suggest all the PYQs, all 99 sets that are there from 2018 onwards or 17 onwards till 2023, right? Along with the 120 sets that will be there in the 30 mocks. That is a good source of 220 sets for you. Those 220 sets, if you can go through them twice or thrice, those should be the 500 sets you are solving. And in the 4 sets that are there in the CAT, क्या इन 220 सेट के बाहर से क्या ही लॉजिक आ जाएगा? I don't know. I mean, it is good enough material. It is good enough material, right? So you can stick to one source of preparation. Don't waste your time in trying to collect a lot of material, because I keep seeing in the groups also, if someone posts a question of quant randomly, Sazil, कि ये क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करो, तो उससे पहले कि कोई बच्चा वो सॉल्व करके उसमें आंसर करे, कोई ना कोई बच्चा पूछता है सोर्स क्वेश्चन मार्क, क्या करेगा जान के? तेरे पास जो है वो तो खत्म कर, right? So there are enough
मैं
material.
ये वाला नहीं करूंगा, पर मैं उसका सोर्स जाके पढ़ूंगा. That's
Yeah, yeah. So whatever enough material, stick to the source that you are sticking to and complete that source and try to revise. Revision is of utmost importance. Without revision, there is no, there will not be a clarity in your mind that if you have seen a set only once and you're directly seeing it 2 months later, believe me, you will take time again. But if you have seen that in a period of 2 weeks, then again in the period of 4 weeks, you have seen at least that set, and it the logic is continuing in your mind, and you're revising that logic, then that logic will automatically stick in your brain, and subconsciously तुम्हारा brain काम करेगा. Next time you see a logic similar to that.
So diversity, the solving as many diverse sets as you can, right? GP, a few nuggets from you before we move to the next one.
I think Ravi has said what is required, and end of the day, I'll end up repeating what he said. So ऐसा कोई major नहीं है. There's just it's a you see DILR, the basic issue which always comes out. It's a new area for practically everyone. Hardly anyone would have ever studied about DILR before preparing for CAT. School college में तो होता नहीं है. So ऐसा नहीं है कि so and what that means is many students right from the beginning are uncomfortable because it's a new area. Okay, so as long as you are willing to spend time, practice and revise regularly, it will be done. So I would not say कुछ extra करना है. What Ravi has said is good enough.
JP, I think इसमें point ये है कि DILR में they have not been tested before. बट
Yeah.
एवरीवन अप्लाइज DILR इन देयर लाइफ. मतलब अगर किसी को कैलाश कॉलोनी से कार लेके सीपी पहुंचना है तो उसको पता है ऑलरेडी डिस्टेंस कितना है, ट्रैफिक किस समय कितना टाइम लगेगा. अगर 6 बजे पहुंचना है तो मेरे को 5:15 बजे निकलना है. बट सेम क्वेश्चन ऐसा मेट्रो रूट्स का बना के दे देता है कैट 2022 स्लॉट 1 में कि एक बंदे को यहाँ से यहाँ 1 बजे से पहले पहुंचना है तो कब निकलना चाहिए.
Absolutely right.
Apply this in your life. You're just not
Absolutely right.
realizing.
And I'm sure most of the girls love shopping. So what DI है?
Yeah. Everyone goes.
Every time you are
Everyone
filling up
goes
with
shopping.
है.
Everyone
budget
goes
है, 50
shopping.
चीजें
Everyone
खरीदनी है,
buys
you decide
shirts
where
and
to
denims
match.
at a discount. Everyone buys jeans pants at discounts, shirts at discounts. But profit loss discount का question देख के डर लगता है. You are applying it in your life
You feel food.
unknowingly. You are not tested there. That is the problem.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's absolutely right and a very different perspective from what we normally hear. But that's absolutely right. कभी testing नहीं हुआ, किया तो हमेशा है. Okay. So which place do you want to go for a holiday? Which are the options? You are evaluating options. That is what is being done. Okay. Yeah, so you can move on.
Yes. So understanding CAD. You've seen this slide before, if I'm not wrong. If you've attended some sessions with us, right? But ये बहुत प्यारा favorite slide है because this gives you a good picture about how things are, right? So for example, the marks required in CAT 23 to get a 99 percentiles, just for an example, was 76 marks out of 198, right? So that is what was required. What we keep saying that is less than 50% is what you need to score, right? This is what it means. For a 95% percentile, you needed 55 score. Now, the same thing in 2022 was a little more, राइट. सो यहाँ बात एक ही है कि अगर एक टेस्ट इजी है, एक टेस्ट डिफिकल्ट है, अगर ये सारी बातें होती हैं ना कि वे स्टूडेंट से सर क्वांट डिफिकल्ट था लास्ट ईयर 2023 में, क्वांट वाज वेरी डिफिकल्ट एज कंपेयर टू कैट 2022. गाइस, डिफिकल्ट क्या होता है? मतलब इस सेंस में इधर डिफिकल्ट का कोई सेंस ही नहीं बनता है बिकॉज इट्स अ रिलेटिव रैंकिंग और रिलेटिव सॉर्ट ऑफ परसेंटाइल. रिलेटिव का मतलब ये है कि अगर मैं 99th परसेंटाइल पे हूँ फॉर अ नॉर्मल टेस्ट, फॉर अ मॉडरेट लेवल टेस्ट, if a test gets difficult, everyone will perform a little lesser in terms of score. So will I. And hence, relatively, I will still be in 99th percentile. If the test becomes easier, the same movement will go upward because the cutoff will go up and I will have performed more and everyone will have performed more. So, relatively speaking, it remains the same. However, हाँ, अगर टेस्ट डिफिकल्ट आया या कौन डिफिकल्ट आया एंड आपने ये सोचा कि शिट एंड मैं उस स्पाइरल में चला गया जहां पे आई कुडंट कम आउट ऑफ इट, देन यू डिड नॉट परफॉर्म अप टू योर स्टैंडर्ड and hence relatively your percentile fell. So it was not the difficult test which got you, it is your mental state and you not being able to stay calm which got you bad, right? So please understand that test difficult, test easy kuch nahi hota because cutoffs keep moving accordingly. right? So that is how.
Also, Sazil, if it's a difficult paper, I am not able to solve. I go with a simple principle. मैं से नहीं होता तो बाकियों से क्यों होगा? Okay, and
Absolutely.
that is what you need to remember every time. What Sazil said, that I am not able to solve. That means others are also struggling with the paper. That's okay. Okay. Secondly, when you are attempting a paper, please don't try to assess whether it's easy or difficult. Your job is just to attempt whatever you know. Easy, difficult, postmortem का काम हम पे छोड़ दो. Please, you don't take away our job. हमको भी कुछ काम काज करने दो. So हम लोग को करना है ये. Your job is just to attempt the paper and come out and then tell us what happened. As long as you're worried about attempting the question and not about how easy or difficult it is, you'll be okay. Secondly, if you look at these CAT papers, look at how consistent they are from 16 to 23. 2016 50, these are 2016 to 19, these are 300 mark papers. So 51%. 2017 is about 54%, 52%, 53%. 2020 was a 198 mark paper. No, not 198. This was 76 questions, not 20. Yeah.
228 marks. 228
228 marks, 40%. So when people say CAT, this one is easy, is difficult, CAT 23, please look at CAT 2020 also. On 228 marks, 102 will be just about 40 to 43%. Okay, and that is similar to CAT 22 and 23. Okay, so it is not an issue at all. So these are consistent papers, and whether it's easy or difficult does not matter, because ultimately it is a percentile your rank which will come out.
Right. Okay, perfect. So on this note, let's bring in a surprise, right? A surprise element that we have not. So in the audience was our student from the last year. Last year, I guess. I think he
No,
was
no,
Cat
not last
22.
year. उससे पुराना है.
Cat 22.
I
Huh.
think he'll be passing out this year, na? He'll be
He'll be passing
graduating
out
this
this
year.
year. So Anuj Agarwal from IIM Ahmedabad has joined us, and let me, without any further ado, let me bring him in. Hi Anuj.
Hi,
हाय
Anuj.
सजील.
Hi,
हाय
hi.
सर. हाय.
कहाँ बैठे हो? IIM Ahmedabad
हाँ, रूम पे.
रूम पे, राइट?
हाँ.
So भाई यही बात चल रही है कि so difficult easy. So थोड़ा सा अपना स्टोरी बता दे यार in short before we go ahead, so that
And
students get
Anuj, एक और
inspired.
चीज यार, सबको बता देना कि लास्ट 2 महीने में क्या करना होता है, क्या नहीं करना होता, और तुमने क्या किया था.
हाँ.
तो अपने एक्सपीरियंस शेयर कर दो यार.
अभी क्या चल रहा है? एक मिनट, सितंबर चल रहा है ना? और
हाँ, 2 महीने क्या
Good
किया.
morning.
और
उसको
नवंबर में,
हवा ही
हाँ,
नहीं है.
26 नवंबर, सितंबर. ओके, तो 2
Yes.
महीने हैं. तो अभी तो बहुत प्रैक्टिस करने का टाइम है. अभी तो मतलब अभी तो बहुत रेस बाकी है. अभी से तो टेंशन लेने की बात नहीं है. काफी लोग टेंशन में आ गए होंगे. अभी तो क्या क्या कर सकते हो यार. मतलब अभी तो कितने लोग हैं जो DILR स्टार्ट नहीं किए होंगे. 100-120 सेट में सुन रहा था. तेजा सर कह रहे थे कि 200-220 सेट मतलब एक बहुत अच्छी पीक प्रिपरेशन का वो होता है. तो मैं तो कहूँगा 150 अच्छे सेट्स भी बहुत सफिशिएंट होते हैं, जो कि इसमें तो बहुत कुछ किया जा सकता है. सेम गोज फॉर इंग्लिश. 2-4 महीने के न्यूज़पेपर्स बहुत अच्छे से गो थ्रू कर लो, मॉक्स वगैरह, जो जिस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस बार बार गलती कर रहे हो उनको, उन पे थोड़ा कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड अटेंशन. मतलब आई एम श्योर अगर किसी को स्क्रैच से भी करना हो, तो अगर आप अभी से 6-7 घंटे दे दो तो भी 2 महीने विल बी गुड इनफ, आई गेस.
Right. अनुज एक क्वेश्चन में आई जस्ट पुट इट अप, तो वहां से शुरू भी करते हैं. अपने स्मोक स्कोर बता दो यार.
अच्छे अच्छे थे यार मेरे, मतलब अच्छे आते थे.
कितने
Anuj,
अच्छे थे?
यहाँ पे एक क्वेश्चन आई वांट टू आस्क यू कि did any college give you a call based on your mock scores?
नो, ऐसा भी
क्यों?
होता है क्या?
नहीं, मतलब स्टूडेंट्स को लगता है बहुत लोग को कि यार मॉक स्कोर अच्छे नहीं आ रहे तो मैं मॉक लिखना छोड़ दूंगा.
अरे कैसी बात कर रहे हो. मतलब अरे मेरे भी आए हैं कितनी बार. मतलब DILR और इंग्लिश, यार इंग्लिश तो सीरियसली फक अप करती थी मेरे को. मेरे नेगेटिव आए. एक तो मॉक ऐसे है जिसमें इंग्लिश में नेगेटिव आए थे मेरे. और तो उसकी बेटी थोड़ी लेनी है. मतलब मॉक्स है यार. मतलब
They are basically for your practice. They are basically for for your own reflection and telling you. They will basically tell you how much more you need to improve in each of the sections.
और क्या. अभी तो
चलो
डेफिनेटली.
मैं एक काम करता हूँ. मैं पहले बता देता हूँ. Let me reveal this. So he Anuj had 100 percentile in his cat 22, right? So that's the answer to the question. And you continue, Anuj, please. You're telling the students कि क्या करना होता है लास्ट 2 महीने में, और क्या क्या
हाँ
करना
जी,
है.
मैं मॉक्स का बता रहा था कि मॉक्स तो यार जितने दो, मतलब मैंने कभी किसी से ये नहीं सुना कि मॉक्स ज्यादा देने से कुछ नेगेटिव हुआ हो किसी का. मतलब यू विल गेट टू रियलाइज कि और कहाँ कहाँ पे आप फंस सकते हो, विच इज मतलब वो जैसे वो नहीं होता है कि द मोर यू स्वेट इन पीस टाइम द मोर द लेस यू विल ब्लीड इन वॉर टाइम. वही है कि जितने टाइप के क्वेश्चंस, जितने टाइप के सेट्स प्रैक्टिस कर रखे होंगे, इट्स ऑलवेज बेटर. और एनालाइज ध्यान से करना, मतलब कई बार ऐसा होता है कि जो क्वेश्चन सही हो गया लोग उसको एनालाइज नहीं करते, लेकिन व्हाट हैपेंस इज कि आपने अटेम्प्ट करते टाइम आप 100% श्योरिटी से सही नहीं किया होता है आपने. इट्स मोस्टली कि दिस वाज माय बेस्ट गेस एंड इट टर्न्ड आउट टू बी करेक्ट, so you didn't go back to analyze that question. So that significantly brings down the value addition that that single mock could have brought to your preparation. So don't miss out on that. और बाकी तो यार मतलब कोर स्ट्रेटेजी मैं कहूंगा जीपी सर जो बोले मतलब ना पत्थर की लकीर मान के इम्प्लीमेंट कर दो, मोस्ट लाइकली पहुंच जाओगे अच्छे कॉलेज में. तो बाकी मतलब केस
बिल्कुल.
टू केस बेसिस पे हाँ.
अच्छा, एक 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 और क्वेश्चन आपके लिए है डायरेक्टली, भैया बोल के, राइट? कैसे करे भैया एनालिसिस? योर प्रोसेस इन शॉर्ट, एनालिसिस कैसे करें? You take this on, Anuj, and then we will continue also.
हाँ. एनालिसिस देखो ऐसी, मतलब आई डोंट थिंक कि मल्टीपल तरीके हैं एनालिसिस करने के. देयर इज ओनली वन वे कि गो थ्रू द पेपर फ्रॉम क्वेश्चन 1 टू क्वेश्चन 100 उतने कितने होते
66.
66.
हैं? 66.
याद भी
और
नहीं है उसको.
सर बहुत टाइम हो गया, कैसी बात कर रहे हो.
No
ठीक है.
worries.
तो एंड एक एक पे अपना थॉट प्रोसेस याद करो कि क्या सोच के टिक किया था. एंड इफ यू वर कॉन्फिडेंट कॉन्फिडेंट सोच के टिक किया था एंड इट गॉट करेक्ट, दैट इज द ओनली क्वेश्चन यू डू नॉट नीड टू गो थ्रू अगेन. बट बाकी एवरी कैटेगरी, चाहे वो गलत हुआ हो, चाहे चाहे वो सही हुआ हो लेकिन आप श्योर शॉट नहीं थे, तो एवरी अदर कैटेगरी अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट वन नीड्स टू बी थॉट थ्रू अगेन. एंड बिलीव मी, इट डजंट टेक अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम. पता नहीं, मैंने कुछ लोगों से सुना है कि 2 घंटे का एग्जाम दिया एंड फिर 2 ढाई घंटे लग जाते हैं मॉक एनालाइज करने में. इतना तो नहीं लगना चाहिए. जैसे कि, और अगर लग भी जाए तो भी मैं कहूंगा कि यार इट ब्रिंग्स यू मोर वैल्यू एडिशन देन अटेम्प्टिंग अ न्यू मॉक. So analyzing a previous mock will always bring you more benefit than attempting a new mock. तो जितना भी टाइम लगे लगा दो. और वैसे विद टाइम, विद प्रैक्टिस उतना टाइम नहीं लगेगा.
So, just to add a little or clarify what he is trying to say, is there are two parts to the analysis. One is solving again, and one is analysis. Combined, it might take you time, but you have to do an in-depth analysis for sure, and solving is a big part of it. Am I right, Anuj?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
राइट, ओके, चलो ये क्वेश्चन आगे भी आ रहा है. सो ग्रेट, अनुज, यू जॉइन. सो जस्ट लेट्स गो ऑन विद द
Yeah,
एजेंडा.
yeah.
सो व्हाट इज योर, हमने बात करी प्रीवियस स्लाइड में, अंडरस्टैंडिंग द स्कोर्स. नाउ लेट अस मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट, which is what is your target. We will come to so by the way, in the chat, we've posted Anuj ka preparation strategy video, so you can later save it and later watch it right after this session. So uh, what is your target? ये target fix करना होता है. So GP, I could you please just quickly take the students through this one.
Yeah, इसमें ना I have a huge difference of opinion with most people. I don't have a target score, frankly. Okay, and when I start with the paper, I don't start by saying अच्छा इस paper में मेरे को इतना number चाहिए, because I don't know what the paper is. If I'm saying I want to score X marks in this paper, I'm assuming there's a certain structure, certain kind of question will come. So I don't have a number or objective target. I have a very subjective target, and that's a process-oriented target. That if I come across an easy question, I will attempt it. If I come across a difficult question, I leave it. That is the only target I have as far as quant is concerned. In DILR, again, I will go through the sets, and my target is to be able to pick out the right sets in order of difficulty and attempt them. So from the easy sets to the difficult sets. In that process, if I'm able to do 2 sets, it's great. If it is 1 set, it is fine. If it is 3 sets, it's perfect. If it is 4, it is fine. To me, it is a process target. And English, my target is just make sure you don't waste time anywhere. And as far as I'm concerned, for me, the biggest wastage in time of time in English used to happen when I would refer back to the passage. So my target was not going back to the passage. Read the passage, go to the question. If you understand, mark the answer. If you are doubtful but reasonably sure that one of them is the answer, back yourself and mark it. If you are confused, leave it. So that's my target. Now, what that means is that at every stage, I'm just focusing on attempting the easier ones. So whatever score I get, relatively will be a decent score. Okay. So frankly, that is the way I have always operated. Not now only, but earlier also. And when I took CAT, that was the way I did CAT even then. Okay.
Hang on.
And
So,
so we can look at all those numbers, but frankly, we don't know what number will be relevant as far as CAT 24 is concerned. So मेरे को
right.
मालूम नहीं है अगर पिछला 3 साल का ही देखते हैं उसी के अंदर बहुत गैप है फॉरगेट अबाउट द अदर्स
Right.
I
So
think
I think how
great value in what GP has just said. Guys, when this video will be uploaded on YouTube, you go to 33 and a half minutes and listen to what GP has said from 33 and a half minutes to 36 minutes of time. Okay, this the best strategy is not having a target. I mean, score target in your mind. Your target has to be process oriented. मेरे को आएगा मैं बनाएगा, नहीं आएगा छोड़ देगा. Simple, right? That's the only thing you need to do in the paper.
I think how to use this table is, I think, target. I agree with what both of you said, and because हम लोग, so मेरा एक colleague था जो ये बोला करता था कि look at the, you decide on the basis of the merit of the paper. मैं तो he was trying to say कि भाई तुम्हें past को मत देखो, current paper जो हाथ में उसका merit देखो. मैं बोलता हूँ merit of the paper या merit of the section भी तुम्हें नहीं पता. You have to go by the merit of each question. कि मुझे like what GP said. But what this table helps you with to understand is कि अगर मुझे suppose 97 percentile in each section लाना है, तो मुझे क्वेश्चन कितने चाहिए, and this gives me a very good perspective कि मुझे सिर्फ 10 क्वेश्चन चाहिए VRC में to get a 97 percentile net correct questions, right? 7 questions in DILR and 6 questions in QA, and if I'm able to get that in all the 3 sections, 6 plus 7 is 13 plus 10 is 23. So 23 pe you will be way above around 98 or above 98 percentile. So basically, if you get a 97 across, जो नहीं होने वाला है, so which means that you will have to understand how to balance or find your sweet spot in that paper, right? So I think that is what explains this particular data. So let's move on to a more relevant one. So deciding on a game plan, again this will go by the logic of what question कौन सा आता है तुम्हें पता नहीं, तो question के हिसाब से चलो. If I can do a question, I'll do it. If I can't do a question, I'll move on. But this just gives you a good idea about there are 3 kinds of people, persona, right? So there's a quant hero, there's a DLR hero, there's a VARC hero, which means कि मेरा strong section कौन सा है और मेरे कुछ weak sections है, relatively not so strong sections है, right? So I have to understand that I need to pull the score in my section, right? That is what this tells you. So look at this horizontally, where the VARC hero gets a 99.9 percentile, for which he solves 19 net correct questions in VRC section. Then he goes to DILR and does 8 questions in DILR and 8 questions in quant to get a 95 percentile each, and a total of 35 questions gives him a 99.3 percentile. The same percentile in each section, right? You need to pull that one section of yours, 1 or 2 sections that you are good at, but at the same time, the weaker section or the relatively not so strong section, you have to make sure that you don't go way below, right? So there is something called a cutoff or a sectional minimum, right? Sectional cutoff or sectional minimum तो 75, 80 और 85 पे होता है. However, अगर आपको 99 जाना है या higher percentile पे जाना है, तो 75 or 80 might not be enough. So IIM Ahmedabad says 75 is a sectional minimum for each of the sections. But if you get a 75 in each of the sections or any one of the sections, you might not hit the required percentile maybe to get a call from IIM Ahmedabad. So just to give an example there. So basically what you have to understand is what is your section that you're going to pull. However, there's one caveat in what I said. मान लो मैं quant hero हूँ, मेरा quant strong है, and I am planning to pull my quant score, but quant is difficult in that paper, and maybe I got a little rattled I have to make sure that I am able to pull the other two sections. Now कौन तो लास्ट में आता है, so मुझे पहले से ये माइंडसेट से जाना पड़ेगा कि मुझे मैक्सिमाइज करना है, जो I have to maximize my score. I have to do as many questions as I can do, and not go with a fixed number in mind. So that's my 2 bits on that. Anyone can
इसमें
take off.
Yeah, Sadhir, इसमें ना, first of all, I would want to address those people who are good in verbal but not so good in quant and DI. And there are many such people. Now, please remember, to get to a 100 percentile kind of a stuff or get to a very high percentile, you need to have a good score in English. Okay, because if you have a low score in English, you are unlikely to go very high in the total. Okay, just to give you an example, if you have about 55 marks in English, जो अभी ने जो लिखा हुआ है इसमें क्या कहते हैं सजील ने 56 marks, forget about 56, you get 45 marks in English. And if you look at the last year's paper or last 2 years paper, year before last, you need another 40 marks in the other two sections, which is quant and DILR, to get to a 99 percentile at 85. Okay, so 45 plus 40, 45 plus 20 plus 20. Okay, now you reverse. For most people, it will be very difficult to get a 45 in quant or DILR. So if you have to have a high score in percentile terms, English, if you're good in English, you are at a distinct advantage over others. Okay, that's one part. Okay, second thing, however, do remember that end of the day, it is the same paper for everyone, and what you do will not matter much. Whether it's easy or difficult will not matter much. So from your point of view, all you need to do is you say, okay, whatever is my best section, let me try to play on the front foot, which means where I am strong, मेरे तुक्के लग जाएंगे. ऋषभ पंत का अगर एज भी लगेगा तो छक्का जाएगा. ओके, गौतम पुरी का एज लगेगा तो विकेट पे जाएगा. So there is a difference between the two people. You need to be clear what is your strong area. You can afford to take chances and you can bat on the front foot. So please make sure whatever is your strong area, whether it's quant, DIL or verbal, there you have to be absolutely not reckless, but you have to be aggressive and go for the kill and try to do as many questions because that's your strong area. You will do well in that area. Okay. On the contrary, in your strong area, if you become circumspect, you become doubtful, you become cautious, you are going to kill yourself. So in your strong area, just go all out, be aggressive, and bat on the front foot. In your
I
weak
think
area, don't take chances. Just be sure जो ठीक लगता है mark करो. Whatever you don't think is sensible, looks fine to you, just leave it and move on. Yes, Ravi, you are saying something.
yeah. So I think more than game plan, this is a reality कि अगर तुमको VIRC में you get a 99 and DILR and quant you get a 95, which you will end up at a 99 overall, right? It's not something that you should have in your mind when you're going into the exam. When you're going into the exam, you want to be a VRC hero, you want to be a DILR hero, and you also want to be a quant hero. You want to maximize your score in the exam. Please don't mistake this slide for your preparation strategy कि आज तुम्हारे quant में number बन रहे हैं तो VRC छोड़ ही दो, ऐसा मत करना. In the you will consistently prepare for all the three sections till the exam, and on the exam day you will try to maximize each of them. I'll tell you one, I'm openly, admitting I got 8 marks in DILR last year, Sazil. 8 marks in DILR last year paper.
Right.
That 23 slot one, I got 8 marks. I, for the last 5 years before that, have never seen less than a 99.9 percentile in DILR.
Right.
2018 to 2023, I never saw a 2022. I never saw a less than a 99.9 percentile in DILR. In last year's CAT, I attempted 15 questions. I got 2 entire sets wrong. But does it mean that I would give up in quant? No.
So like I keep saying this again and again कि hangover एक section का दूसरे section पे hangover नहीं जाना चाहिए. So,
Right?
Not only hangover नहीं लाना चाहिए, don't try to compensate for one section with the other. You can't.
yeah.
So if you think that my my quant is not good, I have to compensate with VRC, it won't happen. You will spoil VRC also. These are 3 different innings. Each has to be played on its own, on its merits. And don't try to say I have to compensate, because when you try to compensate, your section will go down. So if you're weak in let's say DI, so you're weak in DI. Do whatever you can to the best of your ability. Don't try to put that pressure of DI on Quant or on Bubble or vice versa.
It's just like Tendulkar was the best Indian batsman, but Tendulkar in his prime was not a part of the best Indian team. The entire team has to perform,
Yes.
right? मतलब इंडिया को जीतना है तो you have to perform. रोहित has to perform, Kohli has to perform, Pant has to perform, Pandya has to perform, and Bumrah also has to perform. You have no other choice than to dedicate yourself to all the three sections and prepare for all of the three sections alike. And पेपर में जो होगा उसके बाद जो होगा वो postmortem analysis you leave it to us. Okay, in the paper you are only going for the kill. Remember that.
Yes. Anuj, what was your scenario like? Say 2 months before CAT. Where were you in terms of your sectional
मैं तो
strengths?
यूपीएससी मेंस लिख रहा था सर 2 महीने पहले तो
इसकी कहानी मेरे को बहुत सारी मालूम है, मैं खाली बोल नहीं रहा हूँ.
Uh-huh.
सर कैट कहीं आप मुझसे यहाँ की लाइफ का कुछ पूछिए तो मैं ज्यादा अच्छे से बता पाऊंगा. कैट में मेरी स्ट्रेटेजी अगर किसी ने फॉलो करी तो उसका नहीं हो पाएगा.
That is a
किसी को
good
कुछ
one.
मोटिवेशन चाहिए हो कि यहाँ कैसा होता है क्या होता है वैसा कुछ बताऊं तो बेटर
नहीं
रहेगा.
तुम अपना बता
बिल्कुल
दो, तुम अपनी
वो
स्ट्रैटेजी
सेशन
बता दो.
करेंगे.
Anuj,
Go
one
ahead.
question here. One question here is: it is said that it is easier to getting into an to get into an IIM than get through an IIM. Is that true?
हाँ शायद कहा जा सकता है. हाँ लेकिन मैं अगेन आई से कि इट वेरीज यार. द एक्सपीरियंस वेरीज. मतलब सम पीपल टेक टू मच मतलब टेक थिंग्स टू लिटरली कि यार आई हैव टू डू वेल इन CADS, I have to do well in SIP. SIP is the summer intern. Then I have to get a great placement, and then I have to participate in clubs also. और मैं अपना 2 states भी कर लूंगा. और मतलब 6-8 चीजें लेके चल रहे हैं लोग. ठीक है तो थोड़ा सा ऑब्वियसली मतलब you have 24 hours and you have a limited capacity, brain capacity. ठीक है ऑब्वियसली फिर स्लीप भी इम्पोर्टेंट होती है. मेरे जैसे आलसी लोगों को 10 घंटे सोना है. ठीक है तो मतलब if you are willing to make sacrifices here and there, give up this, I'll give up this also, then it's a pretty chill life. But मतलब if you are the the achiever types कि नहीं भाई मेरे को ये भी चाहिए, मेरे को इधर भी, मेरे को इधर भी, तब तो भाई भगवान ही बचाए आपको. हाँ तब in that case the life is difficult, more difficult compared to cat. Yeah.
एंड अनुज, ये वाले लोग तो हमेशा दुखी रहेंगे ना, बिकॉज वो अपने मार्क्स देखने से पहले दूसरों के मार्क्स देखते हैं क्या है.
हाँ एग्जैक्टली. इसका कोई एंड नहीं है. मतलब हाउ मेनी टाइम्स टिल हाउ लॉन्ग विल यू कीप ऑन प्रूविंग योरसेल्फ टू अदर्स. मतलब आई फेल्ट लास्ट नवंबर कि आई हैव डन इट ट्वाइस. मतलब आई गॉट आउट ऑफ ए बॉटमलेस पिट ट्वाइस इन माय लाइफ. नोबडी इज एवर गोइंग टू जज मी नाउ. अब मुझे जो
Right,
मना है मैं करूँ. तो जस्ट
right.
उसके बाद से मैं ऐसे वेजिटेबल बन चुका हूँ कि अभी मैं बीन बैग पे बैठा हूँ. मेरे रूम में प्रोजेक्टर लगा है, पूरी दीवार पे मेरा पूरा हॉस्टल इधर आके पिक्चर देखता है. ठीक है
बहुत सही है.
तो मतलब दिस इज द लाइफ आई
Anu,
लिव.
one thought. So here, let me announce it here, and if you are fine, we'll do one nice session where we discuss your life at IIM. How do you say that? एक- Let's
मैं
do a
विल बी यस श्योर. मतलब थोड़ा एम्बैरेसिंग होगा बट ठीक है.
so uh, on the game plan. There is one question that I want to take up. What if I
श्योर.
don't have a strong section at all?
Yeah, very good. Very good. No problems at
No
all.
problem
If you
Everyone
नहीं
will
don't,
be chill. And if you remember, रवि को एग्जैक्ट क्या होगा, कोविड के दौरान the Indian team to Australia, every match 2 players would be down with COVID and someone new will come and who was supposed to be an average or a substitute player and वो मार के चला जाता था. Disha, you can be easily that person.
if you are not
है.
strong in any section, if you are not strong in one particular section, then you will not have any galat fahmi कि मेरे को ये आता है. It's a good place to be,
It's
honestly.
a good place to be because छोड़ना questions छोड़ना भी आसान है ना, move on करना भी आसान है, right? And selecting the जो बोला merit of the question पे उसको select करो, right? You'll be able to do that because मुझे जो आता है मैं करूँगी, right? That's how you have to go for it. Disha, don't worry. I want to take up another question, GP, and let's talk to Rahul for a while. Sir, at this critical point, I have to travel 10 days for an emergency medical situation. I am utterly helpless. How can I carry on with my studies while doing this, all of this? So,
See, you have to travel. You have to travel. That emergency medical situation is more important than cat. First of all. Secondly, don't have that guilt कि मैं उसको cat को छोड़ूं. Cat will happen next year also. So if I look at the worst case scenario, next year cat है. ठीक है, जो शुरू में मैंने बोला था उसका उल्टा बोल रहा हूँ अब मैं. Because your situation is slightly different. You always have to prioritize what is important. If this is more important, if this is critical for you, it is critical. However, if it is possible for you, you can definitely continue with your reading. If nothing else, you can read a lot, and maybe there's a time you can take to relax so that after these 10, 12 days, when you come back, you are absolutely fresh for your preparation. 10 days will not matter, believe me. Okay. Those 40 days or 30 days after those 10 days will matter. So don't think you will lose anything much. It's fine. Take care of the health first, whether it is your health or your family members, both are equally important. So take care of that first.
and just to add on, just take GP's point forward. Rahul, don't stress. 10 दिन on a larger scheme of things कुछ भी नहीं है. To stress करेगा, after you will probably end up spoiling it, which otherwise would not get spoiled, right? So just trust that and relax, right? Like GP said rightly, just relax. Okay. ठीक. So let's move on with our agenda. So time clarity, थोड़ा टाइम पे बात कर लेते हैं. ये सब कैलकुलेशन है. See, this is a very subjective thing. Time available 1300 1400 hours from today, right? Time required is around 500 hours a day. Now अनुज ने यही बोला कि मेरा एग्जाम्पल लोगे तो फिर तुम्हारा प्रेप खराब हो जाएगा. So don't do that, right? So it depends on the person to person, right? You decide how you want to do it, but you make sure that you utilize your time well and you don't stress over it. Do it in swag. ठीक है, so ये मेरा suggestion है. But you should know that every moment that you're using for your CAT studies, right, be mindful of what you're doing. Do the analysis right, take mocks, do the analysis, identify strengths, work on your strategy for the next mock. Go back to your prep where you have to. ये जो चीजें हैं, कुछ key चीजें हैं, which are absolute important ones, keep doing that with a level head, right? So I think anything to add here? So
all those
yeah,
who are reading, or all those people who are sitting idle and only preparing for CAT, or even the ones who are working, make sure that you are working or studying 8:30 to 10:30 in the morning, 12:30 to 2:30 in the afternoon, and 4:30 to 6:30 in the evening.
wherever possible.
वो टाइम्स में तुम्हारा माइंड एक्टिव होना चाहिए, क्योंकि उन तीनों में से कोई एक तुम्हारा स्लॉट है एग्जाम का. Okay, work on these 3 times. Even if it is your regular work, make sure you are working on it at that time. Okay, and 500 hours, as Sasil has said, is very, very subjective, right? Some people may not require that kind of time. You just think if you can give 6 hours a day from today, you will have a very good chance at it. Even if you can give, if you have had a decent level of preparation already, then you don't require to put more than 3 or 4 hours per day, right? So it depends on, it is a very subjective thing, depends on where you are in your preparation currently. 500 hours overall, 600 hours, I believe, whenever you start, is enough for preparation for CAT.
So as of today, Ravi, to add just to put a point there, तुम बोले 3 hours or 6 hours, that depends again कि तुम mock भी लिख रहे हो, तुम्हारे lectures भी हो रहे हैं, उसके over and above you got to work and on analysis on the subjects or whatever. So it depends on the stage of preparation you are in, depends on your own prep level, right? It depends on your own goals. So yeah, it's a very subjective thing, rightly said. Right? It's your capability to
sleep well. Sleep well, have food on time. Was in these last 2 months, you don't want to have any kind of IBD. You want to have a good sleep and eating cycle. बहुत important है life में. You will regret if you don't maintain that later on, when you reach this age, our age, or Sajil's age, or GP's age. You will regret if you are sacrificing sleep or food. Don't do that.
अनुज को तो समझ आ गया है. अनुज is sleeping properly now.
असाइनमेंट कल हो जाएगा सर, नींद पूरी होनी चाहिए. असाइनमेंट कल हो जाएगा, नींद पूरी होनी चाहिए.
You're right. So, where are you at? So, uh, so depends. So, this is the answer to the question previously, right? Whether have you been preparing, you weren't serious, your fresh start. So, I think we've answered this in the early part of the session, right? कि अगर शुरू भी कर रहे हो और अभी से भी, if you are giving your time, if you're giving your effort with the calm mind, without judging. अच्छा, a lot of people judge their scores. भाई मॉक्स जज करने के लिए नहीं है, मॉक्स एनालाइज करने के लिए, समझने के लिए कि मैं कहाँ इंप्रूव करूं, मैंने क्या गलत किया, मैंने क्या सही किया, हाउ डू आई रिपीट व्हाट आई डिड राइट, हाउ डू आई नॉट रिपीट व्हाट आई डिड रॉन्ग, where do I make changes and how do I go back to my prep. That is what you are doing, right? So it doesn't matter where, which, what stage you are at right now. The idea is to stop thinking all that and just get into the prep, right? So I think, yeah, so this has been answered. What must one do, ये भी हम बात कर ही चुके रवि, थोड़ा सा इस पे एनालिसिस का पार्ट में आ रहे हैं हम लोग, हाउ टू एनालाइज योर मॉक, हाउ टू यूटिलाइज इट,
I think, see, most of the times, coming to this part of the preparation, you will hear, Sazil, what we hear from most of the students is, sir, I've gone through the concepts of algebra, I've gone through arithmetic completely, I've gone through all the classes of DILR or whatever, but I'm still getting only this marks. That means there is no concept gap as such right now. Whatever gap is there is in your execution. And execution ka, there are two parts to it. One is your art of solving the problem. Second is art of solving the problem in the exam, right? So mocks will help you in art of solving it during the exam, and otherwise outside mock practice is going to help you in your problem solving capacity. These are the two things that you have to do. Mock लिखो, analyze करो, खत्म करो. What I would suggest, however, is that at this point, if you want to learn any new concept, if you want to learn concepts, don't go to some random YouTube playlist and look at 30 different concepts in algebra. Don't do that for yourself. There's a better way of doing it. Learn concepts through questions. Because if I were to write a book on quant, I myself know about 1,000 concepts. बाईस आएंगे यार पेपर में, right? And more often than not, it is those pool of 50-60 concepts taken together from quant which have been appearing in a repeated manner, right? So what you have to do is you have got to look at the PYQ questions, PYQs, and start solving them and learn concepts required to solve questions like those. You learn concepts through questions. If you want to go to, if you are good at arithmetic already and algebra is something that you have not done, if you actually start studying algebra, algebra is endless. You look at those 100 questions that have appeared in algebra over the last 6 years and start learning concepts for those, then you will be able to finish whatever you want to do for algebra. The same is true for geometry. So learn concepts through solving questions. Don't be behind completing concepts and then going to solving questions. Once you learn concepts through solving questions, you will also be very clear about why are you learning that particular concept. मतलब goal तुम्हारे mind में है, तुम उसके लिए कर रहे हो. That is why it will register in your mind. Your problem solving capacity will increase. Automatically, your art of test taking will also become better.
fair, great. So the objective is writing mocks for sure. Now मैंने यहाँ पे right side पे लिखा है attempt question mark mocks in the next 50 days. So we'll go around the table and take opinions from everyone. I'll go last. So GP, how many mocks must a student attempt from here on, or as a total also?
See, I would say by and large, my recommendation is about 2 mocks a week is by and large enough. Okay. The reason why I say is because I want students also to revise a lot. Many students need regular revision to remember what they have done. Otherwise, they keep forgetting. So my suggestion always is take a couple of mocks a week, maybe one on Wednesday, Thursday, one on weekend, giving 3 to 4 days gap between. The day you take a mock, ideally analyze the paper on the same day. And every time you take a mock, please also identify, especially in quant and DILR, questions for revision. And also in the remaining time, you need to look at the old CAT papers and revise the questions from the earlier mocks and old CAT papers. So to me, two. If you want to be a little more aggressive, maybe 3 mocks a week. but that is to my mind a little excessive, though some students can definitely manage it. Most students will get lost in taking paper and not do and will not spend time in analyzing or revising at all. So then it becomes pointless. So if you can do 3 mocks a week and revise, analyze also and revise the basic stuff also, the important question that is, then it is perfectly fine. Otherwise, 2 mocks a week is good enough. And one last thing, just because you have got 50 mocks does not mean you have to do all 50. Okay, that is something which I want you to be clear about. कि ठीक है, ज्वाइन किया था, नहीं लिए, छूट गए तो छूट गए, कोई क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Okay.
Right. Ravi?
I think anything between 10 to 12 mocks in the remaining 50 days is good enough. Anything in the gap of 4 to 5 days. Because I feel, once you have taken a mock, you've got to go through all the 66 questions that are there, right? And you spend time on it. There's huge value in revision. You'll understand where you are losing and where you are doing better. If you are on a spree of taking up one mock every day, then probably you're going to hurt yourself only in the longer run, because आज से 50 मॉक लेके तुम मतलब what improvement do you take from yesterday to today? Nothing, right? So
Right.
that is why there is a gap of 2 or 3 days between every two T20 matches also. टेस्ट मैच को ज्यादा टाइम गैप इसलिए देते हैं क्योंकि प्रिपेयर तो करे, पिछले मैच में क्या हुआ वो देखे तो सही.
Right. So quickly, Anuj, given that all kinds of all range of students might be watching this video, right? What is your standard answer? What would you say is the number of mocks a student must take from a student's perspective?
सर जैसे होता है ना कि आजकल हर कोई सुन रहा होगा कि डेटा एनालिसिस इज सो इम्पोर्टेंट, राइट? कि डेटा इज द न्यू ऑयल. तो मुझे लगता है कि यू शुड अप्लाई दैट स्ट्रेटजी इवन इन मॉक्स. कि आई एम नॉट अ फैन ऑफ गिविंग full length mocks. Okay, you should do that to build your stamina so that you are able to sit productively even in the last section. That is another aspect of it. But I'm more inclined towards giving like 10 mocks and then figuring out what type of questions do I get wrong, and then finding out sets of like 30 such questions, yeah, 50 such questions, and practice them. So pinpointed improvement is much more beneficial and value adding compared to a full length mock. For example, if there is a particular type of VRC question that I always get wrong, I have identified that pattern in like say 7 or 8 mocks. So if I do another full length mock, how much how many of those kind of questions will I get to practice? Like 1 or 2 max, right? So I'll be investing 2 hours more plus 2 hours for analysis, and I only get to practice at max 5 or 6 questions of the area which I am weak at. It's better that collect those questions from different mocks, make a 60 question mock out of those type of questions only, and then attempt that. That will bring wonders to the preparation rather than simply increasing that number for the sake of increasing that number.
Perfect. So I think the answer is multifold, and everyone can take what they want from this discussion. But the whole idea, and I agree with Anuj on that, कि अगर आपने एनालाइज नहीं किया है तो नेक्स्ट मॉक देने का मतलब नहीं है, right? So if you're not learning from the previous one, you'll be doing the same things, same mistakes. You'll just be seeing different questions and making the same mistakes there. So probably the analysis is important. Otherwise, lekin at the same time, to see those diverse number of questions, to take the different mocks and get the feel of the mocks, and keep getting the feel of new kind of mocks, you need to keep giving more, attempting more mocks. So basically, I sort of agree that 2 tests a week, 1 or 2 tests a week at least, होना चाहिए, max 3. So that's what GP said, and we'll go with that. Right? So okay. Yeah. So focus on your attempt and accuracy rate. Find your attempt and accuracy, and please understand accuracy पे थोड़ा काम करो, which means selecting questions to do and selecting questions to not do is very important. So accuracy is a key thing. And आपका स्कोर फ्लक्चुएट हो रहा है, लॉट ऑफ यू वर सेइंग दैट इन द चैट आल्सो, डजंट मैटर. वो आगे जाके कहीं पे वो फ्लक्चुएशन कम होते जाएगा, बट फ्लक्चुएशन is a normal thing. So some of you might have more fluctuation, some of you might have less, But the question is, you will start stabilizing, or the fluctuations will start reducing as you near cat, right? So there is a time for that, because you will start understanding what to attempt, what not to attempt, where not to fall in a trap, how to move on to the next question if I'm not able to do this one. So those kind of things you're learning. You are in that process. So think about it this way: that if you had started taking mocks 2 or 3 months back, you are better than that, and in the next 2 months you get better than that. That's because you're learning. Just keep analyzing the mocks, the data analysis part that Anuj also covered. So I think that should work for you. All right. Here is some understanding of the mock percentile mapped to a cat percentile based on the past data, is what we've sort of seen. कि अगर आज के दिन में आपका ये आ रहा है तो cat में you might get this, but please take it with a pinch of salt. This is not written in stone, because a person who's scoring a 70 percentile make we've said that he might get a 87, 88 percentile, but someone might get 95 or 99. Someone might also get a 60 or 55. So it's a range. So this is more like a sort of a, we could say, and a mean or a mode value, roughly, right? So that's what this 87, 88 means, right? Ravi, I would like your opinion and then GP's opinion on this. के अभी जो percentile आ रहा है versus कब आएगा? What should student understand from that, and what should they take away right now? Having said that, don't judge yourself, right? Analyze, don't judge, right? Ravi, over to you.
I think उसमें कुछ खास करके बताने को है नहीं सुनील। अभी तुमको
Okay.
50, it's only you're looking at on the greener side. Okay, you're only looking at the grass that is greener. This slide is showing that. So even if you are at 50 percentile today, there is a good chance that you will end up above 70 percentile in the cat if you are at a 50 percentile in the mocks today, right? So don't judge yourself by your mock percentile.
Today.
You need to focus on how to improve two things. One is speed, how to improve that speed of attempting. Second is how to avoid making mistakes. Though I understand, see, there is no fixed way of avoiding mistakes. Avoiding mistakes यानी guesses कम करना थोड़ा सा, तुक्के नहीं मारना. बाकी तो if you are confident about some answer, it may be right, may be wrong, you will definitely mark. There is no way to avoid a negative mark. Someone was asking how to avoid a negative mark. If I had known that I am going to get a negative mark for this question by marking option C, would I mark? I would not. So I would mark at that point in time, I would mark option C only if and only if I am convinced that the answer is option C. So that means your understanding may be a little wrong there. Whatever questions you are getting wrong, after having convincingly marked that, go back to the drawing book and look like Anuj has suggested. Okay, in the previous question mocks, okay, if I am constantly getting a triple negative question wrong in VARC, what is the mistake I am doing every time? Okay, then work only look for triple negative questions, practice them, practice 30 of them. You will gradually improve in that accuracy also. But to answer Tanmay's question over here, how to go from 19 to 100 percentile, 99 to 100 percentile, in that range of things, guys, speed. Attempt rate is very, very important. You cannot go to 100 percentile without attempting questions enough to get 100 percentile. Okay. And you will always make mistakes. You will always make mistakes in all the three sections. Budget that for yourself कि तुम गलती तो करोगे ही, थोड़ा बहुत एक आध दो क्वेश्चन तो हर एक सेक्शन में, no matter how good a hero you are of that section, you will tend to make mistakes, right? So budget for those mistakes also. If you have to go from 90 to 99 to 100 percentile, Tanmay, there is only one way, that you have got to be good at almost everything that is there, and you've got to attempt good enough questions. You've got to attempt questions worth of 140 or 150 marks out of 198 to be there at a very good accuracy.
Okay, this same question to Anuj also. How to go from 99 to 100? Because you would have done that journey.
सर मुझे पता होता तो मैं दोबारा जरूर करता.
Okay, fair enough.
ओनली रीजन कि मैंने दोबारा कभी कैट अटेम्प्ट नहीं किया.
ठीक है, fair enough.
वैसे वैसे मैं इतना कह सकता हूँ कि 99.95 तक बिल्कुल वो सब है जो आपने कहा कि आपको अटेम्प्ट तो मतलब 160 165 मार्क्स के अटेम्प्ट करने पड़ेंगे विद वेरी हाई एक्यूरेसी, जैसे रवि सर ने कहा। यार फिर बाद में वो 4 5 6 नंबर जो होते हैं ना, वो किस्मत से आते हैं, मतलब नोबडी कैन टेल यू कि वो कैसे आते हैं। आ, मैं ही दोबारा दूंगा, मेरे नहीं आएंगे। तो बट दैट्स अ गुड इनफ थिंग ना, आप अगर अपनी मेहनत से, अपने एफर्ट से, इफ यू कैन कम टू 99.99 या 98, तो एवरी कॉलेज इज ओपन फॉर यू। उसके बाद कुछ परेशान होने की जरूरत थोड़ी है।
I think anything above 99.8 is the same, Anuj. मतलब
आ,
99.8 में भी तुमको वही कॉल आएंगे जो तुमको 100 में आने
अच्छा, मुझे तो 99.8 पे देखिए कोई कॉल नहीं आता।
हैं।
मैं एक फन फैक्ट बताता हूँ. आई वेंट थ्रू द डेटा ऑफ द लास्ट 4 years. अनुज, करेक्ट मी इफ आई एम रॉन्ग, that IIM Ahmedabad में he is the only 100 percentiler who's got into IIM Ahmedabad in the last 4 years, which means no one apart from him is a 100 percentiler who's got through IIM Ahmedabad.
In
Fun
my
fact.
batch there was one more. Our batch was we
Okay,
had
two
two,
people.
and yeah,
But 23 cat में भी कोई नहीं है.
no,
Yeah, I saw that data. So okay, great. Uh,
they have a problem with
GP.
100 percentiles, and actually they are not wrong. They have a, based on past experience, they have figured out that 100 percentilers are not going to work hard, and they are just going to, waste their time and
Are
the
you
name of,
proving that also?
yeah.
Proving their theory right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. ठीक
So
है.
नहीं, बट
So
उसमें जो है ना, जलील, इस पे थोड़ा सा जो है कि many times I have seen students who are 99.9 and above typically tend to become overconfident and do not put in the requisite amount of effort. I know the amount of effort Anuj put in, and which is why he converted everything. Anuj कोई मिस तो नहीं हुआ था ना, जहां तक मुझे याद है?
सर
All the
बैंगलोर मिस किया था हम लोगों ने,
हाँ
बैंगलोर मिस किया था सर,
हाँ बैंगलोर मिस किया था यार, ठीक है.
वो तो
बट
हिट हुआ
बट
था
बट
मेरे पे।
बट तुम ये नहीं कह सकते कि तुमने उस पर काम नहीं किया था. So
बहुत
most of
ज्यादा,
the
सबसे ज्यादा
time,
टाइम तो उसी पे दिया था सर हम लोगों ने। वो बैठ के वो क्या बनाया था, वो क्या कहते हैं उसे, वो जो 600
SOP,
वर्ड का होता है। हाँ।
हाँ वो भी था. See, so my basic point is most people who are 99.9 and above tend to think कि अब मेरे को एडमिशन मिल ही जाएगा, मिले एक रेड कारपेट बिछा देंगे, and they don't put in the effort, and hence they miss out. So Ahmedabad is absolutely right, and not only Ahmedabad, you'll find many people miss out on Calcutta, Bangalore, and Lucknow also. Okay? So कहानी वो है कि if you not going to put in the effort, if you going to rest on your laurels, इंटरव्यू में तो बाजा बजेगा तुम्हारा. ठीक है, but coming back to this वाला चीज कि cat, what is your current mock percentile, what will it convert to cat percentile, that's entirely up to you. That's entirely up to you. Your current percentile will not. Now this is what is statistical, what is given. It is not कि ये सब गलत है. It's absolutely like statistics, past data tells us that this is what happens. But tell me, if you are at 50 today, you want to just at 70 or 80? नहीं ना? Because at 70, 80, no decent college will be available to you. So there's a place for statistics, and that's where Anush very rightly said, data देखो, what is it that you are doing wrong, that is what you have to correct. But this is not the place for statistics. This is a place where you say, okay, yes, I may be at this place. I have 2 months with me. I can definitely go much higher. So don't let statistics be a limiting factor for you.
right. Uh, GP, at this juncture, I want to bring in one more question. And through this question, we should talk about the ISB ka 20-month course also. It is the right place to do that. So the question
Right.
is GNEM 785, NLU grad, work ex of 15 months, LOR from SC Judge. Is Blackie possible with the graduate marks? If yes, what is the percentile required? So first of all, just before I come to you, GP, percentile required can be checked through the profilizer. So do check out the IIM profilizer once, right? This will give you an idea कि आपके profile के हिसाब से what is a percentile and how good a match each of these institutes is going to be. So do check out the MBA profilizer. If you are a CS student, it is there in the My Zone. Otherwise, it's there on the website as well. Look for an MBA profilizer or IIM profilizer, search for it, CL, and you'll find it. So going to the second part of the question, what is required percentile for IFT, MDI, and FMS? All of that is mentioned. So GP, is पे Blackie possible? I'm not asking you to discuss a case, but for this student, I think ISB is a fitting possibility.
Yeah. See, end of the day, given his marks in 10th and 12th and graduation, okay, A, B, I are gone. L is
Hmm.
going to be difficult. His best bet is likely to be Calcutta and FMS. Okay, among the top institutes through CAT. Okay, the other bit also is I'm the ISB Hyderabad, which you talked about. Now, why am I saying these are out? Because ultimately, IIMs will not look at his LOR from a Supreme Court judge. They look at number of months of work experience or number of days of work experience. They look at whether you have more than 90%, 10th, 12th or not, or 80%, depending on the category. And they look at what are your marks in graduation. Now, I know law schools typically don't give very high marks, but even then, a GPA of 5 on 10 or 50% is low.
GP,
Okay.
GP. I think
So,
this is 5 on a scale of 7.
even if it is
I think,
5 on 7, it is about 70%, 71%. Okay.
yeah.
So all I'm saying is, but 10, 12 is ka 7, 8. Hai. Okay, so when I look at this person, Indian history, guy or girl, I don't know, whoever it is, थोड़ा सा fight है. Because do not look at anything apart from the objective criteria, which is 10, 12 graduation, your marks, your number of months or days of work experience, your academic background in terms of engineer, non-engineer, इसका खाली एक saving grace engineer नहीं है, यही है अभी तो मैं बोल सकता हूँ.
Academic profile.
And but they will not look at the kind of work he's done. That will be evaluated at the time of interview. So getting an interview call from any institute outside Calcutta and maybe Kozhikode, I would say, will be a challenge. And FMS, three institutes, and outside these three, it is going to be a challenge for him or her. So to be safe, I would say ISB is a terrific option. All said and done, ISB is a very good institute. So far, they were doing 1 year program. Now they're offering a 2 year program also. And anyone who I would go a step further and say anyone who's not based on profiles or otherwise knows that given his or her marks in 10th, 12th graduation, or for any other reason, like unlikely to get calls from top IIMs, ISB should definitely be applied to.
Right. Great. So ISB is for everyone. Use that opportunity. This opportunity wasn't there. So everyone who's aspiring but may get limited by their academic profile or some other thing, even percentile for that matter, right, can try for an ISB because we don't know. We at least know that ISB does not only rely on academic profiling, and it does
I'll
not.
go a step further and say anyone who's above 90 percentile should apply. Forget about 99. 90 percentile and
Great.
above should apply. क्योंकि वो सबको देखते हैं even at the stage of application they will assess you in a holistic manner.
And ISB
Okay.
is a great place to be. Hyderabad is a great city to live in.
Yeah. You'll be next to Ravi Teja.
Huh? Great campus, guys.
And इसमें ना देखो, just to give an example, Viren Raskina, I don't know how many current generation students will be aware of him. Viren Raskina was Indian hockey captain. He would never have got through any of the IIMs because उसके बेचारे के marks अच्छे नहीं होंगे. I'm assuming, I don't know. Because वो इंडिया के लिए हॉकी खेल रहा था तो पढ़ाई में कम रहे होंगे ना marks उसके. He would not have gone through IIMs. But ISB, he did his MBA from there. Okay, and he's running an organization called Olympic Gold Quest, so you can go and check it out. But if you have a great performance outside academics, it will be given due weightage by ISB. It will not be considered at all by IIMs except at the time of the interview. And there also
In fact,
it's at the
even in the
interviewer.
in fact, GP, even in the young leader program that they were doing, they would give a
Yeah.
lot of value to what you did outside school.
Yes, absolutely. Which is what I'm extrapolating.
Yep.
Okay, great. So that covers ISB also as a part of the discussion. Who should apply? I want to take one more question for myself. I want to know more about the revision workshop. So she might have seen something. So what is this? So guys, the revision workshop ka ek course we have launched. So everyone who's preparing that last lab, who doesn't want to go with the full preparation but wants to do a revision. So we have workshops for revision going on, and I think that batch starts today or tomorrow maybe. So it's not a costly one, and if you are interested, you may join, right? So that's what it is about. It's exactly what it means. It's the last lap to CAD, the sprint part of it. Once the prep is done and you want to go for a revision with new questions, fresh questions, cat-like questions, that is what it is about. Yeah. So let's quickly move to. I'm jumping some slides here and coming to this, some Quant Essentials, and GP and Ravi, a question here. So there are people who say कि सब कुछ थोड़ा थोड़ा कर लो, so that you have a good spread of all the topics and you can pick out easy questions of all the chapters in quant. There are some people who say कि only pick up arithmetic and algebra and just do that deeply, right? So focus on everything of something. Which one of this is the right one in your opinion?
See, I go with focus on easy parts of everything. नॉट समथिंग अवेलेबल और नीचे वाला मुझे खाली आसान काम करना है. जैसे अनुज कह रहा था ना यार मेरे को नींद पे आ रही है, मुझे भी नींद पे आ रही है. आई ऑलवेज बिलीव यू डू वेल इन कैट इफ यू आर अ कामचोर पर्सन. कम काम करना चाहते हो, आसान काम करना चाहते हो. अगर तुम्हारी ईगो नहीं है, मुश्किल सवाल नहीं सॉल्व करना, मुश्किल काम नहीं करना, वो है. So to me, whether it is permutation, combination, algebra, geometry, and within algebra, geometry and arithmetic specific areas, I want to do only the easy bit. So for everything, whether it is permutation, combination, geometry, algebra, arithmetic, I want to cover the level 1 at best level 2 questions across the area. I am not interested in level 3 question of anything. मुश्किल काम करना ही नहीं है. Okay, and just to add to what I'm saying, to me what that means is, if I am not comfortable with, let's say I'm not comfortable with let's say geometry, what I'll do, CAT 17 to 23 papers of the CAT 17 to 23 all the papers, I'll do all the geometry questions 2-3 times. And after that, the ones which I still don't understand, I'll leave them, but I'll keep revising the remaining. And then after that, I'll go to CAT 99 to 2008 papers and do geometry questions all over again from there. And then revise similarly. So what you are not comfortable with, please make sure उसका भी आसान सवाल आना चाहिए है. Sitters of every domain you should be able to handle is my philosophy.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Sajil,
but I want to,
can you add Anuj to the stream? He is back in the stream.
yes, yes, sure. So Ravi, I want to also quote GP. I want to quote a discussion that I and Ravi had, sometime. That actually it is also the student finding the sweet spot. So giving an example of Ravi and GP and I, we've been moving around for the RT99 in different cities, right? GP RT99 में, I'm sorry, RT99 में we have this one question, जो लोग बच्चा बोलता है numbers और modern maths छोड़ना है. You had a question about non-repeating digits, which was a easy one. अब अगर बंदा algebra, arithmetic और geometry पे ही focus कर रहा है और बाकी questions छोड़ रहा है, he will lose out on the easy questions of which are outside the purview of arithmetic, algebra and maybe geometry, right? So the point is, दोनों ही जरूरी है. Focus something of everything and everything of something, and you find your sweet spot in that whole thing. Which means what I'm trying to say is, आपने arithmetic और algebra किया, मान लो बाकी सब छोड़ भी दिया, suppose you should be at least able to do some questions of geometry which are easy. उतना pick करके कर पाओ, थोड़ा numbers का easy question pick करके कर पाओ, उतना तो होना चाहिए. Even though you've gone in depth with algebra and arithmetic. Ravi, this is what we were discussing. Anything to add to that?
Absolutely. See, in my teaching career, Sajil, there has been one and only one instance that I have received a 5-star rating for the entire class by all students attending that class, and it was for a class of profit loss. And I take pride in the way I teach profit loss, but in the last 4 years in the CAT, I haven't attempted a single question of profit loss. What does it tell you? तुमको कितना भी आता हो, वो पेपर में तुमको दिख रहा है कि ये भड़कीला सवाल है उस टॉपिक का, तो न छोड़ दोगे ना यार, right? I have never taken, for instance, I have never in my life taken a class of geometry, but 3 out of 4 questions of geometry, every CAT I have written, I have attempted, right? So you've got to, even those top areas, see, arithmetic and algebra, you need to have complete hold on it. Even in these two topics, if there are difficult questions in the exam, you will probably tend to leave it. You should probably tend to leave it. And in the other areas, you should at least know the basics. You should, in geometry, in modern math, in numbers, you should at least know the basics, so that if there is any easy question, any easy 3 marks lying कि आ बैल मुझे मार, तो बनो बैल. There's no reason to not solve a question that easy from, even if it is from modern math. It is absolutely a sin to leave a question only because it looks like a question of geometry. Like Sajil, last mock open CDC 3, there was a question of geometry जिसमें equilateral triangle assume करने से 30 seconds में आंसर आता है, वो वाला question was attempted by 70% people and gotten correct by 60% people. That means overall only 42% people who took the paper got the
Got
correct answer to that question. What does it tell you? That people have left that question looking at saying it is geometry. Very wrong. Geometry ने तुम्हारा कुछ बिगाड़ा है क्या भाई? Give it
I agree
value.
with you completely. Okay, cool. So I think
सर
we've covered this.
ऑडिबल?
Yeah. Yes, Anuj, you are.
सर ये औकात स्कोर क्या होता है? काफी लोग लिख रहे हैं। ये कोई नई टर्म है क्या आप लोग ने?
नहीं ये तो डिस्कस
पहले
हुआ
भी
है।
था, पहले भी मैं और जीजो इसकी बात करते थे। और कार्ड स्कोर इज नथिंग बट व्हाट यू आर केपेबल ऑफ स्कोरिंग विदाउट द टाइम प्रेशर ऑफ द एग्जाम. So
Outside the
the
time.
challenge most students have is in the when they are looking at the mock, when they are taking mock, they are able to get maybe 3 questions, 4 questions, 5 questions right. After the
अच्छा
paper, without even looking at the solution, उसके 12 सही हो जाते हैं। तो उसका औकात स्कोर 36 का था, पेपर में 10
अच्छा
नंबर आए। So ultimately
ठीक
यहाँ
है।
पे प्रॉब्लम उसका नॉलेज का नहीं है।
हाँ हाँ स्पीड का है।
सपोजिंग उसका औकात स्कोर भी 15 है, उसके आए भी 10 नंबर है, तो भैया नॉलेज की प्रॉब्लम है। पहले तो किताब उठा, पढ़ना शुरू कर।
So your Oka's score is a very useful CL lingo.
अच्छा
ठीक है. So so the next thing that we have to discuss is what are the things to keep in mind for the next 2 months. And I'm just going to read this out one by one, and we can go into a deeper discussion. Whoever wants to take this up. So 8 weeks are more than enough to improve your score by 50, 60 marks. Also, if you need to do that, if you do it in the right way, right? If you are calm in your mind and if you have the balance, right? If you're not going to get depressed, right? This will work for you. Decide your strength areas at the end of October. So abhi don't judge yourself yet, right? Abhi bhi you are in the trial mode where things are working for you. You're still trying, you're experimenting, and so थोड़ा अक्टूबर एंड में नवंबर बिगिनिंग तक फ्रीज होने दो, फिर तुम आगे उसको कैसे रिफाइन करना है, योर स्ट्रेटेजी माइट चेंज. सो थोड़ा सा दिस इज अ थॉट. Mentors, please come in wherever you have something to add. I'm just
I
reading it
mean,
out.
strength areas, something that is not your strength is not necessarily your weakness. First of
Weakness.
all, notice that. I think it is very, 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 very essential to be aware of what your weaknesses are. Okay, embrace your weaknesses, and if those weaknesses are in front of you in the exam, tell them that paper के बाद मिलेंगे, अभी नहीं. Right? It's like Virat Kohli doesn't hit a sweep shot. It's his weakness. He doesn't try to hit a sweep shot in a final. He won't. He will stick to his strengths. I mean, he will avoid anything. Like, you should avoid anything that is your weakness. So you should understand what your weakness is. Which type of particular question is your weakness? If you can work on it and try to convert it into your strength, you have time for that, it's okay. But when you're actually going on the D-day, on the exam day, if there are certain things that you know कि ये वाले मैं regularly गलत करता हूँ, but मुझे पता है, but फिर भी मैं गलत ही करता हूँ, तो you have to keep it aside. It should not be your first priority to solve a question like that in the paper.
Okay, fair enough. टेक एटलीस्ट 2 मॉक्स एवरी वीक. ये हमने थोड़ा सा अग्री भी किया इसमें. फाइनलाइज योर एग्जाम स्ट्रेटेजी. बाय नाउ यू शुड हैव अ थॉट कि मैं कैसे अप्रोच करने वाला हूँ, एंड कीप रिफाइनिंग इट. आइडियली 1 मॉक ऑन अ संडे एंड वन अनदर ड्यूरिंग द वीक डेज वेन एवर पॉसिबल. लेकिन try doing it like Ravi said a while earlier. Try doing mocks, or try studying, or try doing something active in that slot, all the 3 slots till 5th November. When the admit card will come out, we'll know what slot we've got. Till then, you should be used to all the 3 slots, right? So try it that way, right? Treat mocks as a learning tool and not a judgment tool, right? So take it as a learning tool to analyze and learn from. A cat is a game of temperament. So, like, again, I'm sure GP and Ravi Teja will bring in an example of cricket here, but all of this is a game. It's a game of temperament, right? So, I keep telling my story, but ये थोड़ा सेशन लंबा हो जाएगा. मेरा स्टोरी वही था कि मैं डिफरेंशियल मार्किंग वाले कैट 2004 में था, एंड द ओनली थिंग विच सेव्ड मी वाज द थॉट कि मेरी वाट लग गई है, लेकिन मेरी वाट लग गई है तो सबकी लग गई है. लेट मी जस्ट स्टार्ट. That's the only thought that saved me. So I think that worked for me at that time. So cat is only a game of temperament, and that's going to save you. Most importantly, don't doubt yourself. Self doubt will kill your performance, right? So don't doubt yourself. Uh, okay, nothing more to add here. I want to bring in a question that two people are asking GP. सार्थक का एक क्वेश्चन है, रचित का भी, मी इन रचित का भी सेम क्वेश्चन है, that जो स्कोर आ रहा है उससे औकात स्कोर डबल आ रहा है, and there's how to narrow this gap.
So I'll go back to what Anuj had said. That if your card score is 40 odd and sorry 80 odd and you're getting 40, obviously you are exhibiting wrong behavior in the paper. Okay, so what kind of wrong behavior are you exhibiting? Because I'm going to that part again because Sazil talked about temperament a couple of minutes ago. Are you panicking? Okay, in the paper, are you becoming extra cautious? Are you desperate to do well? What is it that is happening? Now, these are the underlying causes. What is the symptom? The symptom is you solve a question and you want to check it again. You are desperate. You don't want to make a mistake. Okay. Similarly, it could be the case that you want to attempt many questions and you are moving very very fast. So you miss out on key data and you get the question wrong, or you get your calculation wrong, or you are not unable to understand the passage or the choices. So, what is the wrong behavior you are exhibiting is what you need to ask yourself. So, in the paper, where is the time wastage? Where is the wrong behavior? You address that issue, you'll very easily come to your OCAT score. In addition to this, one more thing which could be a reason is that you have not revised sufficiently, especially quant and DILR. Because when you revise, a DILR set, even if it does not come, you become habituated to making a table, tabulating the data, and working with it. Your calculation speeds improves. You are not dependent on a calculator for every small calculation. Your accuracy improves because you have done the same thing so many times that mechanically you are able to solve questions. And the same thing is true for quant also. So it could be an issue of lack of revision. It could be an issue of wrong behavior while attempting the paper. Yeah.
And one suggestion I have, GP, is that next time, Sarthak, you're taking a paper, you do one thing. You open your Zoom account, share screen, share the mock screen, and start recording when you're taking the mock. Watch the recording after you're done. I mean, you'll understand what you're doing. If your cursor is going back to the passage after going to the question again, if you're going back to the passage, there are times you may not even agree that you're doing it, but that recording will be evidence enough for you. It will tell you exactly what you are doing wrong. If there is any way to record, please do that and see for yourself कि मैं exam में क्या कर रहा हूँ. The other part is, if the 43 and 82 का difference is because out of this 39 marks ka difference, how much of it is questions you got wrong because of silly mistakes? If there are a good chunk of it, you are in a good place because you can improve on that, because you know what to do, but you probably made a small mistake of misreading one particular point or something like that. Okay, if that difference is because you did not see that question in the paper, or you thought you don't know that question in the paper, then it is a test taking issue, then it is a strategy issue. So depending on which kind of issue it is, diagnose that and get to the solution of it.
सर एक चीज अभी
Yes,
याद
sir.
आई, वो वाली चीज सुन के सर ने कहा ना कि इफ योर कर्सर इज गोइंग बैक टू द पैसेज, one trick that I used to do was that I didn't read the comprehension first. I always read the questions first, and I matlab, just one read of the 4 or 5 questions that follow will note down the keyword of what they are asking, so that when you read the comprehension, you can focus on those things when they are described. So it will save like 2-3 minutes per comprehension.
I mean, it's more like even in DILR, before you start representing or making a table, question देखो तो तुमको एक goal mind में रहेगा कि ये इसके लिए काम
हाँ
करना है तुमको. When you have that
हाँ,
goal in front of you, you'll work.
बट DILR में ना वो विजुलाइज करना मुश्किल हो जाता है कि मतलब, हाँ वैसे हाँ, हाँ इट विल वर्क देयर आल्सो, मैंने
But
नहीं किया
Anuj,
था.
would you
हाँ,
agree if I say कि 2 साल का MBA का syllabus ही DILR है?
इन व्हाट
करना
सेंस
तो
मतलब
तुमको वही है.
सिलेबस
Right.
सर, मतलब इट्स व्हाट यू वांट इट टू बी. सेकेंड ईयर में तो सारे इलेक्टिव्स ही होते हैं,
Hmm.
तो अरे वो सब तो हैंडल हो जाएगा, पहुंच
Hmm.
जाओ बस, बाकी सब हो जाता है हैंडल।
Right. Okay, so going a little forward, I think we are coming close to the end of the session. We'll take a couple of questions also at the end, towards the end. But see, you have a lot of resources, right? I saw a question about sectionals, and I saw a couple of questions. So you have a lot of mocks, you have a lot of sectionals, you have daily dose to work with, you have enough good number of questions. You have the workshops coming up, you have the boot camp coming up. So for those of you who are not with CL so far, you still have OpenCat. So I will take you there, right? So use the CL resources, right? I'll come to OpenCat also for a quick minute. And look at this. So there is a booster analysis. There is something called drill down analysis. There is a lot of things. So booster analysis is something that, again, I think this is a beautiful idea that GP had, right, which we started last year, where you are able to judge whether ये मेरे से भूल से सही हो गया, या मुझे मैंने किया और मुझे नहीं आता था और फिर भी मैंने किया and I got it wrong. So it gives you an idea whether it's a good shot. So how many questions? Which questions are good shot? Which are unforced errors? Which are a missed opportunity? Which were easy questions, I could have got them right, but I did not even attempt them. Is a missed opportunity. So risky shot ये था कि difficult question था, नहीं करना चाहिए था, and I still took time and attempted it. Right. So all of those things will get you, go through this. Go through this. There is the Jugaad solutions, and there are other, a lot of other things going on in the test analysis. I urge you, after every test, please go through these things, right? And in case anyone wants to add something, I'll next slide is a quick one on OpenCat, so I'll go there. So for all of you, you can try this out. There are all the old Jugaad solutions that of the questions that have been there of the past CAT papers. You have practice question of CAT papers all the way from 1992 to 2008 to Sara papers. I hope I'm saying the years right, GP. And you have a lot of resources available for free, right? Do check this out. Take a screenshot if you want. You can scan the QR code later also, but you please make sure that, don't see, I say one thing these days: don't leave any stone unturned now. Don't stress, but don't leave any stone unturned. So any resource that you have and you don't utilize it, it's a loss, right? So try as much as you can. Of course you have limited hours, but still try as much as you can, right? And we've already talked about profilizer. So this is what a profilizer report looks like, right? Which will give you an idea about what percentile is your profile a strong match? Is it a strong match for which college, right? At what percentile could you probably get a call from the institute? Those kind of information. Someone was asking about the accuracy of profilizer, right? So accuracy of profilizer is way high, right? Generally, there is a 0.5 percentile ka difference here and there, but at the same time, please understand the profilizer is based on the previous year's data. It is based on data, actual cat taker data, right? Or cat selection data. The, but the parameters could change. If the parameters change or the percentiles, so things could vary a little bit, but not too much. So it's a high accuracy tool. In fact, from the feedback that I get, I can see that it is probably the best tool there is in the market, right? The most accurate in that sense. And yeah, so with this, we're coming to the end of the session, but now we'll take some questions, right? So thank you so much, and let's go for the questions. So I'll go from the bottom. Um, are there Jugaad strategy videos available for people who have just purchased the mock? Because I can't see it. If you go into the mocks, if you take the mock, attempt the mock, you go into the analysis section, where I showed you, right, booster analysis ke andar, you have the Jugaad strategy videos for most mocks. So that's where it is. Okay. We will take questions for 5 more minutes, Ravi and JP, if that's fine with
Sure.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, GP, this one is, I think you should take this up. Are sectional beneficial and video
Section,
solutions? Is
section are beneficial because ultimately there's only so many mocks you will take, and ultimately if I have a problem in a particular section and not overall in the paper, then I need to take more tests of that section to identify the mistakes I'm making there and to rectify them. So it's a mix and match, and say, and which is why many of the mocks or the all the old CAT papers we give in the form so that you can take it either as a sectional test or as a full length test. So that choice is there with you. If you are by and large doing fine in all these sections, then mock should be sufficient. If not, when you want to put extra focus to a particular section, then that's fine. Then the sectional test. Other thing you should also remember: a mock requires a commitment of 2 hours plus 2 hours. 2 hours of paper and 2 hours of analysis at least. A section test, on the contrary, will require commitment of 40 plus 40, okay, and could be a little lower also. So, if you are short of time, for many students who are working, they will not be able to spend regularly 4 to 5 hours on the test taking and analysis. So for then the section test is a good substitute for that. So many students, what they do is they take sectional test during the week and a mock test during the on the weekend. So work it out what works best for you. Both of them, they have their own place. It is not either or.
Life
okay.
was good before 2020 GP. There were
Life
not
is
even
good.
video solutions for mocks also. I
Uh,
think we are just spoiled these guys with.
Ravi, let me hold you there. मेरे हिसाब से है ना, video solutions is a crutch
Uh,
which cripples people. We give it because students want it,
hmm.
right? But it might not be the best thing because students won't try the question by themselves. They would watch the video solution and think that they got the thought, they got the question, they got the idea of how to solve it. So actually video solution is a bad thing. It is useful if you've tried the question 2 times and then you watch the video solution and then you try the question again. Okay, are you able to do it, so in that case it is useful, otherwise it's not,
Hey, I
right? So
remember 12th standard I was studying organic chemistry. मेरा जो फैकल्टी पढ़ाया था ना, जमशेद सर एट दैट टाइम सजील, मेरे को लगा क्या जबरदस्त पढ़ाया ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री का, तो मैं एकदम किंग हूँ। आज मेरे से पूछो आइसोमर्स ऑफ प्रोपेन, वो तुम unless you are practicing it in your life, you are not going to be good at that. First of all, okay, the video solutions will be useful. It's like God helps them who help themselves. If you are not helping yourself, you are not solving the questions again, and you are just going through the video solution and you are thinking कि मेरे को आ गया, तो वैसा ही है, नहीं आ
right.
रहा है।
Yep. So one more question मुझे लेना है, and I would like to bring in Anuj also on this. How much percentile is a safe for fresher GEM candidate to get into a fairly good IIM? Okay, so okay, so I just start with this. That first of all, beta, let me tell you this: 100 percentile we just discussed. 100 percentile पे IIM ABC से कॉल नहीं आया, कन्वर्ट नहीं हुआ, ये भी होता है. 99.96 पे भी I have seen a student who had no call from the Blackie except Indore. It is a real case, right? So this is a possibility. And 82 percentile पे कॉल आके 92 percentile पे कन्वर्ट होना, ये भी पॉसिबल होता है, right? So there is nothing called safe, right? There is no right thing. Of course, as a GM candidate, you will need a high percentile, right, for a fairly good IIM. So that's my answer to that. In case anyone wants to add to that, Anuj also.
सर 10-12 तो बढ़िया ही है। यूजी के मार्क्स तो शायद काफी कॉलेजेस ने हटा दिए हैं अब या कम कर दिए हैं वेटेज,
Yeah.
तो फिर तो सही लग रहा है सब कुछ। थोड़ा लेट हो गया प्रिपरेशन स्टार्ट करने के लिए 2000।
हाँ देखो 10th अच्छा है तो एटलीस्ट कैलकाटा एफएमएस तो जिंदा है ना, वर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो में लेके चलता हूँ।
और क्या,
ठीक है, तो चलो ना।
और 75% तो बहुत होता है।
75 is not bad. It
और
is
क्या,
not
और
bad.
देखो
60
अभी
वालों से पूछो।
अभी तो सिर्फ कैट देख रहे हो, जैट भी है, वो तो कुछ भी
हाँ
नहीं देखता,
हाँ, और
और
आईएसबी ऑलमोस्ट
एक्स्ट्रा
आगे।
कुछ नहीं है।
ISB भी है, yes,
अरे सर मैंने
correct.
सुना आईएसबी ने भी 2 ईयर चालू कर दिया।
या
हाँ
या
हाँ
Which is what we discussed. Na 20-month course है, Anuj. It's a 20-month course, and it is going to be the equivalent of the top ABC, FMS kind of
अरे
courses.
होप सो, दे होप सो।
होगा होगा. ISB है यार. We'll debate this outside this session. So let's have a discussion on that, and
देखो इट्स अ न्यू कोर्स. खाली ये है कि आई एम क्यों बिकॉज आईएसबी लॉन्च कर रहे हैं तो वी आर होपफुल इट विल बी अ गुड वन. So it is the same thing. A couple of years ago, SPGM launched a 2-year program for targeting the non-working crowd. The
सर
earlier
जैसे
program.
जैसे हमारा 1 ईयर फेल हो गया, सबको अपने स्पेशलाइजेशन पे रहना चाहिए.
हाँ, तो लेट्स
उनका
सी क्या
2 ईयर.
होता है इस पे. खाली ये है कि you are going by the institute and the track record of the institute, hoping it will
हाँ.
work out for you.
I think
okay.
एक चीज यहाँ पे ये है कि because it is ISB, I'm pretty sure a lot of people will apply to it, and ISB will only pick the cream out of the people who have applied to it. And when the people are good, I mean, why is IIM Ahmedabad good? At the end of the day, it is because the top 0.3% of the country are there. That's why IIM Ahmedabad is so good, right? Because I know, I think you would agree if I say you learn a lot of things outside the classroom more than what you learn inside the classroom, because you are with like-minded people of that kind of thinking potential. So I think if they end up taking the correct guys with the correct exam and a correct process, then I think it will pull off.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty hopeful. Pretty hopeful about it. It's a good move. It's a smart move. It's something they had to try. The YLP was a small effort. This is a bigger effort in terms of 120 seats. So yeah, okay. With that, on that note, we have come to the end of the session, and all the best to you guys from all of us. 2 months remaining, बहुत टाइम है. मेहनत कर लो. ये 2 महीने आपका लाइफ सेट कर देगा. Go with that thought, right? Any last words for the session, GP Ravi?
Nothing else. Just get down to work. 2 months is good enough time to cover up things. And we every year we see quite a large number of students. And सामने अनुज बैठा है. He got 100 percentile. And more importantly, he was taking civil services exam a couple of months before CAT. And civil services is one of those exams जिसका कोई syllabus नहीं है. Okay. And which means till that time he took civil services, he would not have been able to start his preparation also. Okay. Or we are थोड़ा बहुत किया होगा, ज़्यादा नहीं किया होगा. So on, and every year we see such students who are able to clear CAT and with a very good score and make it to the top institutes with 2-3 months of preparation. So you can do it. Even if you're starting now, don't give up. Just make sure, put your best foot forward and just treat it like any other paper. ज़्यादा भाव मत देना CAT को बस.
Yeah. See, I think I'll end on this note, Sazil. Focus
That
on
is
the
true.
controllables.
Sorry, sir. Ravi sir. Sorry, sir.
Yeah.
That is true for almost everything in life, sir. ज़्यादा भाव मत देना.
हाँ.
Yeah.
जिसको ज्यादा भाव देते हो सर पे चढ़ जाता है.
हाँ.
या चढ़ जाती है. Either way.
Yeah. Yeah. Not saying anything. Not his words, not mine. Okay.
Yeah.
Both ways, na? It is true, equally true for both genders.
Yeah.
All genders, to be politically correct.
Focus only on your controllables, guys. What is it that you can control? You cannot control how many marks you are going to get. What you can control is how much effort you can put into it and how diligently you are putting in that effort. Okay, so what is not controllable? It's also percentile is also a function of how is Anuj performing versus a Ravi versus a GP versus a Sazil in a paper, right? अनुज का अकेले का परफॉर्मेंस नहीं मैटर करता. अनुज को उतना नंबर आना चाहिए और बाकी सबको उससे कम आना चाहिए, तब उसका 100 आता है, राइट? सो दैट इज नॉट योर परसेंटाइल, इज नॉट इन योर कंट्रोल. प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड दैट. व्हाट इज इन योर कंट्रोल, सिर्फ उसी के बारे में फोकस करो. तुम आज के टाइम, आज से 2 महीना तुम्हारे पास है, तो कैन यू टेक दोस 300-400 आवर्स टाइम एंड प्रिपेयर डिलिजेंटली एंड फोकस ऑन वॉट एवर यू कैन डू बेस्ट. बस उतना मेहनत, and that's what you can control, and that's what you have to do. Forget about the result, it will come. If everything aligns, you'll get a good result. Luck also plays an important role.
Great. So Sri Ravi Teja, that was a good one to end this. It's a right note to end the session. Anuj, any last word for the students? Something motivating?
This is better than The life here is better than anything you could have imagined before coming. तो पढ़ ले थोड़ा सा, अगर हो जाए, मतलब जितना हो पाए कर लो, मतलब it will be rewarding, way more than rewarding.
Right. Okay, great. Chalo, thank you so much,
Okay.
Anuj, for being here. Yeah, sorry, GP, you were saying something.
नहीं, I was just saying, about to say thank you very much and good night. और कुछ
Good
नहीं.
night.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. चलो. Okay, bye and thanks, Anuj.
Thank you, sir.